What's up, guys? It is Gray, aka the Cog Rain. For some reason, I have to readjust how I'm sitting every time I record an intro. This one's a little late. I honestly didn't even realize. I was like, yeah, sometimes I upload my heroes Monday nights. That's not unusual. So I'm like, I'm sorry, bump my mic. I'm like, yeah, I'll just get to it Monday night. It is a Wednesday night right now. Well, really, it's Thursday in the morning. But that's not important. So I do apologize. This time just got away from me here. But I'm sure you guys don't mind. Right. Also, before we get into it, leave a like for the algorithm. Sorry I have to be so big. Once again, copyright, blah, blah, blah. And let's get into this chapter because it's a good one. In case you're wondering what we're doing today, we're going to talk about My Hero Academia, Chapter 301, also known as Todoroki Family Drama, Chapter 301. I already made that joke, but I thought this was an appropriate time to make it again, in case someone didn't watch the last one. Also, I did make a Ruby. Oh, it was convenient because today they announced that the next episode of Ruby is delayed a week because of what's happening in Texas. By the way, if anyone of you are in Texas, or if you know people in Texas, I hope that you are safe and everyone you know is safe. I hope everyone's safe because it's a bit of a mess right now. But either way, let's get into the chapter. It starts off with a back in time. We have a young Todoroki. There we go. You have a young Endeavor and a young Ray, and she's very attractive. And so is he. And they basically are like, "Hey, like this is will be the next number to." Hold on, I'm blanking. I'm on my brain. It's been a long day. It was a quirk marriage. But she did it for her family because her family was of high esteem in Japan. So they want to keep that by obviously having their daughter marry like the number 2 hero. Number 1. At the time, they said it would be the next number 1, but obviously they didn't know that All Might would be unobtainable. And then she talks about how she likes flowers, and of course, that's where the flower came from. Way earlier in the manga when it was revealed that he remembers what flowers she likes. And then we cut back to the present briefly. Also, this chapter's title is called The Wrong Way to Put Out a Fire. In case you didn't know, because I didn't until right now when I read it. He's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "No, I'm not okay. That's why I'm here." Because their son is a freak. Speaking of their son, Dabi is at a hiding place for the villains, I assume. And he's talking about that's a lot of burning. So if you don't notice, actually, you can actually see the color differentiation here. These are new. This skin right here, that's like lighter shade. It might not be. No, you can pick it up on camera. Camera's picking it up. Or I guess the screen recorder's picking it up. This is a lighter shade, so this is new burns. And you can you might be able to, I don't have a picture of like old Dabi to pull up to see like, oh, what's the difference here? But you can kind of see, you can even see a tiny bit on his face and his chest. The scars are increasing. So there's a decent chance that by the end of the manga, Dabi's going to be just covered. So, and he talks about how oh, Dad's going to live. Can't wait to see NG Todoroki. He calls Ray Mom, the only one that was like familial names, not like brother or sister. Take a real good look at me in the depths of hell. So, oh my, look at the panel lining here. Oh my, hold on, I didn't even notice this. Okay, if you can see, he has like an eye scar drip, and it shows up to drip on this panel. Hori's a genius, man. I know that sounds stupid when I realize that oh, this literally does nothing, but like, he's so good at panels. And then we cut to a young Dabi, Toya Todoroki. He's like, well, you gotta train with me. He's like, you can't keep training all the time. It's for your own good because he gets covered in burns. And then the doctor talks to them about how he inherited a more powerful version of Endeavor's quirk of fire, but his mother's constitution for ice, which means that it's very bad for him to use fire because it hurts himself. And he also is like, hey, like, just in case, we don't know, but like, don't do a don't make children for quirks. And then we see the TV going about how like All Might's saving everyone and he's unstoppable. And then we get a little bit of a slightly older Toya talking to his sister, Fuyumi, who's very young at this point. And he's like, Dad let this fire in me. I got to be the strongest hero. Like, that's my goal now. He's like, you wouldn't get any storms off. And then we have Ray and Endeavor talking about their plan, which they don't outright say it, but they talk about how the plan, she's like, it's cruel. And he's like, no, this is the only way We need to like crush. Basically, they need to. They're crushing his dreams. Basically, they're trying to crush his dreams to become a hero. And she agrees clearly, because we have the first child, Natsuo, and he's like, "Oh, that kind of sucks," and Endeavor's still upsetty spaghetti about it. And then they have the child, Shoto. Now, another cute thing you might notice, we have Shoto up here. His right, I'm just gonna say our sides to make things easier. Left white, right red. Toya, left red, white right. So cute little inverse there. I think it's cute at least. Now we get a great panel of the reactions. Endeavor's grateful. Ray looks like she's just happy it's over, and then we get pure despair from Toya. And he's training in this really nice looking wooded area, which potentially could be the site of whatever happens. I can do it too and pass. Look at me. Their son is having a meltdown. There's also stuff I want to talk about at the end of this chapter regarding him. Also, we get an interesting face. And it's like, you stop. You're covered in burns. Look, you're not going to become a hero. Just make friends at school and play with your brother and sister. And he's like, but everyone wants to be a hero. But like, you're the number 2 hero. And then she's like, we have to cool him down because he's like catching on fire and burning himself. He's like, you lit a fire in me. I can't pretend it's not there. Look at me, Endeavor. And then he attacks Shoto. Seemingly attacks Shoto. And he's like, and then you get a last line of Ray. You don't get to claim you're not hurting. That you're hurting more than anyone. You're the only one who didn't really see him. So now, we do know from flashbacks way early in the manga from Shoto that his siblings were all playing when he was still relatively young. So this does mean, supposedly, and also that Toya and Natsuo were moderately close in some way, shape, or form, at least the way Natsuo talks about it. So this does mean essentially that there's more to this. This is not where like the event happens, by the way. There's more. So that's cool. I'd like to see that. I'm hoping we see that next chapter. I'm a little worried. We already gotten 2 flashbacks in a row. I'm worried we're going to cut back, but I would like to see the end of this for real. I just want to know, so I mean, I don't want it to be gnawing at us anymore. But overall, I thought it was a really cool chapter, actually. After reading it, I liked it a lot. I just like the way it's all set up, and it really gives you a feel for... Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about, because there's a lot... As anything Endeavor related in this fandom, there's a wee bit of drama going around because you have the Endeavor fans and the Endeavor haters. Excuse me. People, myself included, were expecting Endeavor's abuse to be a lot more in your face, physical. And people are like, oh, he's like retconning Endeavor not being that abusive. That, to be honest, that may be true. Let's not, there's an expression, go into the bush, around the bush, beat the bush, beat around the bush. There we go. Wow. Let's not beat around the bush. That could be the case. There's a solid chance that first 30 chapters Endeavor was a very different character than the Endeavor we see now. Maybe he realized that they could actually have something here. Either way, to be fair, it was never stated, and this is still definitely abuse. You can tell. Both Endeavor and Ray are not good parents. Like, they are not good parents. Like, sure, there's moments where they're both caring, but, like, his strategy to stop his son from burning himself was to have another kid until he literally, like, was like, you're not the prodigal son anymore. That's not health. That's not no child is going to be able to take that in a healthy way. I mean, you also have to think, at the time, Toya was anywhere between 6 to 10. I'm gonna say 7. He's a 7-year-old boy, and his only way to get his father's attention just left is in like physical form of Shoto. This is not like, sure, Toya could be like a little, because of how he was raised and whatnot, and like maybe like he could be a little, well, I don't want the word, not, people say estranged, but like, maybe he would have needed some counseling. But he wasn't a psychopath. He's just a kid. You know what I mean? Like sure, we've all done something. I'm sure a lot of people have done crazy stuff as kids. They didn't know it. You know what I mean? This is definitely a parent thing and not a him thing. I think that the events after this probably didn't help, and he never got the help that he needed, the counseling or the guidance or the emotional support that one would need to come back from such a household. So I do think it's possible that this starts them down the path of going crazy. Because let's be honest, guys, he's crazy. Dabi, Toya, they're crazy. He's officially past the point of no return. I'm positive. Which is why I think... Should I talk about it this video? I don't think so. I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait until we see for sure the actual flashback. Because there is a topic that I want to talk about related to Dabi and Shoto. It's not really like a discussion. It's more of a... I just want to talk about it because I think it could be cool to talk about. I know I literally just said nothing in that, like, the past minute. I just said straight up nothing. But you'll know when I make the video. Expect it, ideally, when we get the whole story behind Toya. Would be ideal. I really hope they don't wait until their actual fight to get it. Because that would be really disappointing. I don't want to wait that long to make that video. You know what I mean? Either way. Yeah. I just want to talk about that. Because I know a lot of people... And, like, in the whole Endeavor thing, once again... This is still a type of abuse. It's just different abuse. We also haven't done the worst of it because I assume it got way worse with Shoto than it did with these children. So let's just, like, the worst. Like, Shoto probably got the worst of the abusive part instead of, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. We don't know. Let's just wait. We don't know the whole story yet. Let's wait before we call out anything. It is nice to get, like, a real view on, like, people, you know, I know this is meant for, my channel is really targeted to, or, targeted. I don't like target. Target's not the right word. But I accept all audiences here. There were some people that think that, like, the Endeavor-Ray relationship was very forceful. We'll say that. I'm glad that that's not the case because that is it would be very hard to be in Endeavor's corner after stuff like that. You know what I mean? But luckily it doesn't seem to be the case. Everything seemed consensual. Even she was on board with the idea of having kids until they got the perfect one so their son would stop training. Yeah, so really good chapter. Good isn't like interesting. Obviously, it's a bummer chapter because it's a child. We know the fate of this child here, Toya. We know his fate, and it's bad. It's a bad fate. It's just unfortunate. Well, we don't know his fate, I guess. We know what he turns into, which is basically a monster, let's be honest. Either way, I think that's going to do it. Actually, a short chapter, and I managed to keep the video under 15 minutes, which is cool. Yeah, so once again, no Ruby next week. Excuse me, no Ruby, which is unfortunate. But hopefully my hero is just as saucy as this one, because I like talking about it. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video. Helps the algorithm. I think I already said that. And I will see all of you next time. My hat just blocked the mic. Peace.